Vipi wase, Ndex hapa, BoxtoBox FPL show, Gameweek 16 preview na pia recap ya Gameweek 15. So, Gameweek 15 ilisha jana usiku, Gameweek 16 inaanza kesho jioni after na vitu ziko back to back. So, we have to do things teke kama kawaida. The show is brought to you by Uber Eats. And we have a community pale WhatsApp, BoxtoBox community. We have groups for every single sport: rugby, F1, football, KPL, NFL, athletics, NBA, kila kitu. Una join tu, una banta, ndio hiyo. For FPL tutakuwa tunafanya a voice chat an hour before deadline. And yeah, that is also done on WhatsApp. And we might actually be going to spaces soon for that. With that being said, game week 15. This is how our team did. Makalamu zinafly kila pahali. Game week 15 tuliwa 34 points. 34 points. 34. Yani, that hiyo ilikuwa namba ya Jaka kitambo, si ndio? 34. Alikuwa 29 alafu 34. Yeah, so 34 points. The average was 35, so one below the average. We had only made one sub, which we had one transfer rather. So far tumekula tu -4 moja. Nilikuwa ile time tulikuwa tunaingisha Salah. So that is one that is worth it, you know. Kela 6 points pale defense. Pale keeper defense. Saliba 1 point, Pedro Porro 5 points assist versus West Ham. I think he also got 2 bonus points. Fabian Schär 1 point. Bukayo Saka got an assist in his game versus Luton. Salah alipata clean sheet 6 points na alikuwa captain, so he got 6 points total. Son na Gordon blank. Darwin Nunez came in late, akakula yellow card, but he also got an assist, so 3 points from Darwin. Watkins and Alvarez gave us a combined 3 points, and our bench was just not any better. 2 points to Bravka, 1 Diaby, 1 Udogi, and 1 Gvardiol. So yeah, one of the really bad weeks, but for those bad weeks, the only consolation is that atukukula minus. Like, those are some of the things that you have to clutch and hold on to positives. Tukingala league zetu tumedrop 52 places, I think, from 1036 to 1088 kwa ligi ya BoxtoBox. Alafu ligi ya Good Company tumetoka 3481 hadi 3598. We've dropped over 1,500 places in Kenya and 74,000, if I'm not wrong, in the world. So yeah, we need to bounce back. We need to bounce back big. I don't like those red arrows. Because zote ni red, ni league moja pekee hatujapata kitu yote. Yuko tu blank, hata ikuwa green. So yeah, rough game week, but yeah, room for improvement. So going into game week 16, I just want us to go over some injuries, key players that got injured, and I think the main one, the big one kabisa ni Mbeumo. Mbeumo got injured, high ankle sprain. I have seen this injury happen too many times pale NFL na NBA. So this is someone who is definitely going to be out for at least 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks if it's a high ankle sprain. They just said ankle sprain, but chances it's a high ankle. The way alikuwa ameshikiliwa, it's high ankle. At 7.1 million, he's been one of the better players in FPL. The thing is, hata ukimweka kwa bench yako, na he's back in 4 weeks and enda AFCON after that. So he is someone, I think, lazima, he just has to be sold. He has to be sold. There's no other way about it. He'll come back, maybe he plays one game during Christmas, like, you know how the festive period is, alafu ende AFCON, so not worth it. So that's someone who we are seeing out for maybe the next 7 to 8 game weeks. So, there's some of the people I feel like can replace Mbeumo in terms of player in midfield. And it's a long list. So, it's like a combination of Mbeumo replacements and budget midfielders. So, we're doing a combination of both in this one segment. So, number 1, Anthony Gordon, 6 goals, 5 assists for Newcastle. The thing with him is that now everyone is injured, so he plays as a false 9. He's really attacking. There's no options in that team. So, he's playing 90 minutes. He's forced up a bit higher with Livramento, so he's in better places to score and at least get something. So definitely someone worth considering as a Mbeumo replacement. My only reservation with Gordon is the fact that so many players are injured. They're not playing as good as wamezoea kucheza. Unacheki. So kama Wilson ako nje, Joe Linton is just there, Tonali suspended, of course. So they're iffy, but when they actually get chances, Gordon is more or less going to be the person at the end of those chances, and he's cheap, right? 5.7, I think. No, sorry, 6.0. We got him at 5.5, so that's why he's like 5.7 on our FPL. Then next best player, Cole Palmer. The man has 5 goals this season at 5.3 million. easy entry into the Chelsea midfield, and also someone who's on penalty duties at 5.3 million, and also someone who over the next 5 fixtures they have the best fixtures, that is Chelsea. So definitely someone to consider, and obviously Sterling as well. So we'll have the two of them back to back, Cole Palmer and Sterling. Sterling is not really a direct replacement because he's 1.7 million more expensive than Cole Palmer, but he's more or less within that bracket of that price range of Mbeumo. So yeah, you can more or less just replace them, right? So he's also a good replacement. He's been very amekuwa active pale mbele. In terms of Chelsea going forward, he's trying to make things happen for this team, a young team, and he's also the most consistent player in terms of minutes. Hapo hivyo Jackson, yes, anaanza but he'll be benched. Mara Mudryk is starting, Mara Sujuhu. Sterling is the one person mwenye unajua game in game watakuwa anacheza. Another player who's flying under the radar is Anthony Elanga, 3 goals and 3 assists for Nottingham Forest. He's now more or less secured a starting position in that team, especially with Awoni injured and Chris Wood has to play. They're looking for a lot of how they can get their wingers to join the attack a bit more. So Elanga, definitely someone to consider as a Mbeumo replacement. Huang Chi Huang, this is Huang Hee Chan. Sorry, this is someone who has 8 goals and 2 assists in the league this year. We have been singing his praises. Even last week he was in our, not last week, before game week 15, which was earlier this week, tulikuwa tumesema huyu msemo mwenye unafaa kuconsider kuleta kwa timu yako, and even he was a captain pick last week if I'm not wrong. The only reservation we have with Huang is that he's 1 yellow card away from a suspension, which means if he plays this game and gets a yellow card, he'll be suspended for the next game. And then in January, he's going for the Asian Cup. For those of you that don't know, Asian Cup and AFCON are coming at the same time. So all Asian players, all African players will be away. There's a period of 2 weeks, I think from January 14th, that game week of January 14th. And if you reach the final of the Asian Cup, it's until March 10th. So that's 4 game weeks you'll miss. For AFCON, it starts a bit earlier when FA Cup is going on. So you'll only get to miss, if you get to the final, I think you'll only miss 3 game weeks. I think so. Next player, Mbeumo replacement, but also a budget player, is Mo Kudus. Kudus. This man has 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 4 games at 6.6 million. He is proving to be very lethal. They're letting him, all the attacks go through him. Antonio is out with a hamstring injury. Kumanisha Bowen anacheza hapo mbele. Kumanisha Kudus sasa anachukua position ya Bowen. Him is the attacking outlet in everything that they do. Every time hata Bowen akidrop deep kucheza false 9, Kudus nako kwa hiyo space. So someone that's definitely worth considering. Again, the only problem is he's a short-term solution because in the next 3 weeks, he's off to AFCON. So Bosley, 7.1 million. He has 2 goals this season, but the reason why we are really considering him is that he's a creator. He has 4 assists for the season. He ranks amongst the top 4 or 5, I think, in terms of chances created. He is everywhere. He is playing 90 minutes. He's making runs into the D. Like, he's not scared to shoot. So again, someone worth considering. But at 7.1 million, for me, I feel like it's a bit expensive. But if you really need a replacement, especially in January, venye soto atakuwa ameenda kina Kudus, Son, Huang, that is someone worth considering in your team. And then lastly, the player who I think has been flying under the radar as well at 5.5 million, Abdoulaye Doucouré. He scored versus Newcastle, 5th goal of the season. He has 10 goals and 4 assists in his last 25 appearances. Ako 4th in big chances created in the league this season with 10 chances. Only behind Mo Salah, Bukayo Starboy Saka, and Jarrod Bowen. So he has been given that role. End of attack. He's just going advanced midfielder. Amekuwa KDB. His next fixtures are Chelsea, Burnley, Spurs, and Wolves. Definitely teams that he can all score against because Everton are on the rise. Wako na hiyo us against the world mentality. Juu wametolewa ma points. And yeah, those are our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 potential replacements for Mbeumo and budget midfielders to consider for FPL moving forward, especially with AFCON and the Asian Cup coming in January. Kabla tuingie Captain Picks, guys, I just want to remind you that the show is brought to you by Uber Eats. If you guys go to the Uber Eats app, maze, there are some amazing offers everywhere on food, like just drinks, watu wa sherehe, wasetuko December. And also, don't forget, as long as you're in the BoxtoBox FPL show league, you are in the running to win up to 10,000 shillings in vouchers at the end of the month. So we get our top 3 Uber Eats managers of the month and we give them prizes in vouchers. So guys, tell your friends to join so that they can also have a chance to win. And also check out the Uber Eats app. Like, there's a lot of amazing offers over there. And obviously, terms and conditions apply. And yeah, Uber Eats sponsoring Box to Box. Now we move on to captain picks for game week 16. I think there's some names that tushazoea hapa. Number 1, Mo Salah, Crystal Palace away. The one thing, amekuwa kiblank, and we all know who Mo Salah is. I will give you all the stats in the world, but mnajua Mo Salah ni Mo Salah. Na bado captain. I'll give you reasons why you should even captain him even more. He's playing Nathaniel Klein. Palace have only kept 1 clean sheet this season, or in the last 10 games. So definitely Mo Salah, someone to consider as an option as captain. And I think now that he has blanked, he just has to come through. He had no choice. And yeah, Liverpool are playing well. I think they are top 3 in XG, especially away from home. I know for a fact they are top at home. Probably the best offense in the league right now. They just can't stop scoring. So yeah, definitely Mo Salah. Second place, Erling Haaland. And I think this will be like our top pick for captain this week, playing Luton away. Luton concede the second most shots in the box. They concede the most big chances of any team, and Luton are really, really bad in defending set pieces and headers. You saw against the game against Arsenal, they actually did quite well. They scored 2 goals from set pieces, 2 headers. Lakini, you saw how Gabi Jesus just went and strolled to the back and had a free header in the D. Declan Rice for the winner in the 90 whatever minute that was. So Haaland is there to just pick up the scraps, and then also in case there's a penalty, of course Haaland is on penalty duty. Luton just concede chances, they concede plenty of goals. And yeah, Haaland, top pick for captain upper game week 16. Number 3, Hwang Hee-chan playing Nottingham Forest at home. The only thing you need to know is that Hwang anacheza nyumbani. Msacheza home lazima afunge. Ako tu na hiyo anafunga tu. Nottingham Forest walichapwa na Fulham 5-0 in their last game. They're just stuttering. Sijui. But the strongest thing about this fixture is that Hwang is playing at home. He already has 10 goals this season. He has 8 goals and 2 assists this season. The only thing is that, again, if you don't have him in your team and you want to bring him in, remember, he's 1 yellow card away from a suspension. And even when he comes back, January ako Asian Cup. But for this particular game week, kama uko na someone to also consider just captaining, because it's a desert out here. Next up is Jarrod Bowen. This boy has scored in 7 consecutive away games. He plays Fulham away. The one thing about Fulham is they concede lots of chances through their middle and through their left. And Bowen is basically playing in those 2 positions with Antonio out, as we said earlier. I don't know if Antonio is back by there. I just know it's a hamstring injury, but you're supposed to be out for a while. So Bowen is a threat. Hapo kuna threat ya Bowen na Kudus. So Bowen is looking to score in his 8th consecutive game. I think if he scores in his 8th, he will either tie Van Persie or Aguero, one of those 2 players. He's on form. He's just playing well on the counter. So definitely someone to worth considering for captain. And I think our last pick for captain is Son Heung-min. I know he's an injury doubt for this game week, but he's playing a team in Newcastle that is just, they don't have players. This team, fatigue is just sumboing them. They already don't have Botman. Lascelles is a doubt as well. They don't have central midfielders. Livramento is playing at left back. Trippier is making mistakes. Kuchoka, Nani tena, Tonali Ayuko, is Wilson Ayuko, Willock Ayuko. So they're more or less going to play the same team. Akina Miley, the kid from the academy, starting. And I feel like this is a good chance for Tottenham to bounce back. They've lost 3 games in a row, and they have to capitalize. This is a fixture I feel like they can really capitalize, playing against a team that had showed a lot of exhaustion in their last game against Everton. And yeah, Son Heung-min is our 5th pick for captain for game week 16. Clean sheet odds for game week 16. So the team with the highest potential for clean sheet is Man City, 56%. They are also the team with the highest chance of scoring 2+ goals at 60%. So something worth considering. And then in terms of the next best teams, in terms of clean sheet potential, 2 that are tied, Brentford and Brighton. Brighton play Burnley at home. Brentford play Sheffield United away. And then at 38%, we have Wolves who play Nottingham Forest, and Crystal Palace, and Liverpool who play Crystal Palace. Liverpool and Wolves 38% chance of a clean sheet. Then, as you said, Man City have a 60% chance of 2+ goals. So these are the teams that have a good chance to score 2+ goals. So Man City 60%, Brighton 40%, then Liverpool 38%, and Man United 36%, Brentford at 31%. So if you're looking at people for clean sheets, look at the following teams: Man City, Wolves, Brentford, Man U, Brighton, and Liverpool. After all of that, this is how our team looks like. So we have made one sub. We have brought in Cole Palmer and removed Diaby. That is simply because Diaby, I think Bailey is slowly now, it's Bailey's time to kind of take over that side. Emery is smart enough and a rotation. So Diaby is providing even when it comes off the bench. Lakini tunanika Bailey is getting more of those chances. And also we already have Watkins, na tulikuwa na cash. So we're trying to just spread our risk and not have 3 Aston Villa players. So that's the one sub that we've made, one transfer. Hapo keeper tuko na Keller, anacheza Crystal Palace away. Defense tuko na Saliba, Pedro Porro anacheza Newcastle at home, na Shah, who was a game against Tottenham. Bado, we're still like 50-50 either between Shah and Gvardiol, because I feel Gvardiol has a better chance of getting a clean sheet as compared to Shah. So that's still an asterisk. I think Gvardiol might start, but yeah, we'll see. And then midfield, kona Saka, Salah, Cole Palmer, and Son. Son is a doubt. He limped off. I think it was an ankle injury. In case he doesn't play, Gordon will come straight in. And then Darwin, Watkins, and Julian Alvarez up front. Our captain for game week 16 is none other than Mo Salah, the Egyptian king. Game against Crystal Palace, again, as we said, anacheza Nathaniel Klein, and a team that has only kept 1 clean sheet. Lakini Mazou Salah ana blank squeezy. Tulikuwa tumempreza blank, lakini anaanza kublank. But anyway, let's see how that goes. That is our team for game week 16. Finally, we're going to go fixture by fixture and see who are the FPL assets. So on Saturday, we have Palace versus Liverpool. There we're looking at Salah, Darwin, Trent, and then Brighton versus Burnley. Brighton is just a team that you don't even know who's going to come through. So I can't even say anyone in particular to target. Man United versus Bournemouth, maybe Onana, maybe Solanke, and maybe Bruno. McTominay for sure. Maxos. In fact, I don't even know why Maxos is not even in our replacements. Then Sheffield United playing Brentford. We are looking at, with Mbeumo out, maybe Visa is the only guy we are looking at here. And then Wolves versus Nottingham Forest. Hwang, yeah, for sure, Hwang Hee-chan. Then Aston Villa versus Arsenal. Here I'm not seeing a clean sheet, so I'm going to go for, obviously, Saka, Martinelli, Watkins, and Bailey. The 4 players that I would go target in this game. Then on Sunday, Everton versus Chelsea. Everton playing at home. Doucouré is one player that I'm really, really, really interested in. For Chelsea, Cole Palmer and Sterling. And then Fulham versus West Ham. Iwobi had a good game, but in terms of FPL assets, I don't know how consistent that will be. So I'm looking at West Ham. I'm looking at who at West Ham? Jared Bowen and Kudus. And then Luton versus Man City. Man City, basically all FPL assets for Man City are a go here. Anyone you have in Man City defense, and then Haaland for sure, and maybe Foden. And then Spurs versus Newcastle. From a Newcastle perspective, but probably only Gordon. Isak maybe 50-50, just that they're not really performing. They're just looking like they're lethargic. Trippier has been on form. He's had a very bad game at Everton, but I believe he will bounce back. And he's going to play against his former team, so something to look out for. As for Spurs, you're looking at Son, definitely Kulusevski. Romero is also becoming a very dope prospect as an FPL asset. And yeah, those are our main FPL assets from our fixtures from game week 16. And with that is our show for game week 16 Box2Box FPL show, brought to you by Uber Eats. As I told you guys, we have a big community pale WhatsApp, link in the description below. Unaweza join, ujibambe, uingie tu polpoto nataka, FPL, NBA, kila kitu. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys do well this week na msichape ma 30-10 na kapenzo wenyu come through. Peace.